Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome. My name is Joe, and I'm an executive here at PC Professional. I'm joined by members of our sales and marketing team and our strategic partner, Datto. We're excited that you can join us for this informative webinar on securing your valuable cloud data. And before we get started, just a few housekeeping items, please. One, this session is being recorded and it will be made available for viewing at a later time. Two, feel free to post any questions you may have in the QA section. These will be monitored and answered towards the end of the session. And three, be sure to stick around at the end of the presentation. We'll have more information on incentives and special raffle prizes. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Eric Torres, the Director of Channel Development with our strategic partner, Datto. Eric, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, and thank you all for joining us today. I know how truly busy everyone is and inundated with webinar requests and video calls and all that. So we certainly appreciate you taking a half hour out of your day to join us. As Joe mentioned, I'm Eric Torres, Director of Channel Development for Datto. And it's my role to be one of the company's evangelists. I'm out there at live events, industry events, webinars, you name it, and just educating people about the risks that are out there and how to mitigate some of the risks when it comes to cybersecurity. Datto ourselves, we are the world's leading provider of business continuity solutions, supported by over 2,000 employees worldwide, with headquartered just outside of New York City, with data centers all throughout the globe, but 2 strategically placed data centers right here in the US. So all the data in the US stays within the US borders. Now, today we're talking about the cyber threats that are affecting businesses, specifically ransomware, and affecting data no matter where it really lives. And it seems like we can't pick up a newspaper or read an article online without hearing about another breach, another attack. Early this year, the major news for a good 10 days was the pipeline that went down and the cyber attack that asked for $5 million in ransom. Now, these are the more prevalent newsworthy stories. But what's not being reported are all the other attacks happening to businesses on a daily basis. And the smaller organizations. So here's an example of one. This is in South Carolina, where it was an allergy center, a small 20-person organization that they got attacked. And this one particularly stood out to me because this is one of the highest ones I've seen as far as the ransom ask. That was a ransom of a small to medium-sized business. 1.75 million was the ransom ask due to the nature of the data that they had. So in looking at this, how often is a business hit with ransomware? I've got a ton of stats and I don't want to bore you with numbers, but if you go all the way to the bottom of this list, every 13 seconds, a business in the US is attacked with ransomware. Every 13 seconds. That is how prevalent ransomware is. Now, this is attacking all data, not just the data that's living on your servers, but also the data that's living in your SaaS applications. And I'm talking about your Microsoft 365, your email applications, Google Workspace. Is that data vulnerable? And the answer is yes, absolutely. It does not matter where your data lives. All data is vulnerable, specifically to some of these attacks. 1 in 3 companies are admitting to losing SaaS data. They're losing data somehow through a number of different means. 47% are just accidental deletions. End users accidentally deleting the wrong email, deleting the wrong file, the wrong folder, and it's gone. In some cases, some of the native backup solutions that are given by the providers only keep that data for a short amount of time, 30 days in some cases, where if your end user, one of your employees, accidentally deletes something, if you don't realize it till day 31, it's gone. 13% of data loss is caused by hackers and viruses, and these are the bad guys that are getting into networks, again, regardless of where that data lives. And then 7% of SaaS data loss, that is caused by malicious deletion. Now, this is taking into account specifically things that have happened in the past 18, 20 months, where businesses have been tightening their belts and laying people off, cutting back hours. What we saw is an increase of malicious deletion, intentionally going in and deleting data by disgruntled employees. Now, on average, managed service providers are reporting just over 5 attacks on their clients per year. But we see this as almost like an iceberg effect. That is just what's reported. There are a number of organizations that are out there that don't even report that there was a breach, don't even report that there was an attack. So this number is actually much higher. Now, in taking a step back and looking at your SaaS data, this is the data that's living in the cloud already. Is this vulnerable to ransomware? The same sense as your on-prem data, the data that's on your servers, the data that's on your physical laptop, your workstations. What about the data in your email? What about the data that you're using in the SaaS application that's out there? How does ransomware infect those sources of the data, those repositories of the data? It is just as vulnerable. It's actually called ransom cloud. That is where bad actors, cyber criminals, are infecting Microsoft's data centers, infecting Google's data centers, and deploying ransomware within your instance of Microsoft 365, of Teams, of SharePoint Online, of OneDrive, and all of your data that stays within those applications. So how are they doing it? Well, I got to meet somebody and a hacker, by the name of Kevin Mitnick. Some of you may remember that name from a long, long while back, but Kevin Mitnick he used to be on the FBI's most wanted list. Way back in the 90s, what he was doing is he was breaking into networks and stealing data. And the FBI wanted to make an example out of him, put him on the FBI's most wanted list, and he ended up getting caught. And what he did after he got caught, he started working with the government and saying, here's exactly how I break into businesses. Here's how I steal data. Here's how you can protect them. Well, long story short, I got to meet Kevin Mitnick and I asked him, how do you deploy ransomware within Microsoft's data centers? And is it even possible? And he shared with me in a matter of minutes how quickly he was able to do this. And I actually got some screenshots of what he did. So what he does is he sends an email out to an organization and it looks just like this. This is a phishing email. It says it's from Microsoft. It has a Microsoft logo. The title even says it's Microsoft Anti-Spam Pro. This email goes out to everybody in your organization, or maybe it's just one person in your organization. And it says, do you want to run an update against your Anti-Spam Pro? And all of us, myself included, would see this logo, see this email going, yeah, I don't want more spam. So let's run that update. You click on that email, the link in the email, pop-up opens up saying, you want to run the update? I need permissions. This looks exactly like every other Windows update that I get. Yes, I'm going to click on that. As soon as one of your end users clicks accept, the entire mailbox is encrypted. This isn't encrypted right here. So for the sake of this presentation, this is the actual encryption email. This is what it looks like. You cannot read anything in your mailbox except for who sent it to you and the actual subject line. So you can see that is indeed a real conversation you were having with somebody, a real email, but you can't read the body of that email. This happens nearly instantly across everybody's mailbox, just like that. And then in every single person's mailbox is this one email saying, you've been infected with ransomware. We have your data. To unlock it, you need to pay us. And this is happening time and time again. This is actually the fastest version of ransomware that we are seeing here at Datto, of going after the data that people think is safe, the data that is residing in Microsoft's data centers. This is actually Kevin Mitnick himself. When we met, we got to record him running through this. It took him a matter of 8 minutes to break into an account and encrypt data within Microsoft's servers. So if anybody wants to see this after this, let us know. And I have the recording of this. He gives a very brilliant description of what he's doing in presentation and how this is affecting data. But that's neither here nor there. If anybody wants to see it, let me know after this and I can share that video with you. Now, we run through a number of reports. We pay attention to all the different stats that are out there. By next year, 70% of organizations will have suffered some sort of business disruption due to their SaaS applications, due to outages, due to applications going down for a number of different reasons, due to ransom cloud, as I've been mentioning earlier. So all of these reasons, we are going to see an uptick of unplanned downtime in your SaaS applications. Now, many of you may be asking, well, isn't my provider protecting that? Doesn't Microsoft have a backup of this? Isn't Microsoft keeping these bad guys out? Well, yes, they are keeping them out. And as mentioned, they do have native backups built into it, but quite frankly, they're inadequate. And they only hold on to that data for a certain length of time. Now, what Microsoft and what even Google adhere to is called the shared responsibility model, and which is exactly this. They are protecting their environment. They're protecting their servers, their cloud. They're making sure that there is redundant internet connection, fire suppression, raised floors, the heating and cooling is all running well. What they are not protecting is the data that lives within the data centers. That is on you. That's on the customer. That's the shared responsibility model. We will provide you the data center. We'll make sure that data center is up and running. You are on the hook to make sure that your data is always good and viable in that data center. This is where finger pointing starts coming into play when there is this unplanned downtime. To mitigate some of this unplanned downtime, they actually have it written in their license agreements. Let's be realistic, who reads the license agreements? They're 50 pages long. I sure don't, but I happen to read this one. And they actually tell you, if you go to the bottom of this, we recommend a regular backup of content and data. Microsoft is telling you this in their license agreement. And they even take it a step so far as to say they have zero liability. If anything happens to that data that is in their data center, they are not on the hook at all. Same thing with Google Workspace, the same exact thing. They even say we have a limited time from when we can recover that data. They are telling you to back this data up. So what can we do to protect ourselves? This is where the fine folks at PC Professional and Datto have come together to provide you with a best-in-breed solution. It is called Datto SaaS Protection. What this is, it's a reliable, simple, and secure SaaS backup. We're backing up Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace, all aspects of it. So Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint Online, Teams, all of the conversations you're having in Teams, the data that's moving within your Teams systems, all of that is backed up as well. Same thing with Google Workspace, your calendaring, your emails, contacts, any shared drives, what you have in Google Drive that is out there, that is also being backed up. So what is it? It's basically taking a copy of that data and storing it elsewhere, mitigating the risks of accidental or malicious deletion, ransom cloud, or the accidental deletion that's happening, or unplanned downtime from providers, as we're hearing more and more of. Just the other day, I saw that Azure went down it was a small percentage of Microsoft, but they went down for 8 hours. Think of that, where could your business survive if you lose aspect of getting to your data for 8 full hours? Datto SaaS Protection addresses your needs through that, being able to quickly and recover that data, save even some of your license counts, and making sure that we keep that nice, clean license count information and only holding on to data that we need to hold on to, so you're not wasting money in additional unneeded licensing, and having the ability to recover to an exact point in time. If you do get ransom cloud, let's just go back to right before that attack happened and recover from that moment in time. That's not it. We also introduced, as a matter of a few weeks ago, Datto SaaS Defense. What this is an additional layer of threat security within your backup chain, within your backup process for your SaaS applications. So Datto SaaS Defense is built to stop content-borne threats at that first encounter. So we minimize any of the detection gaps, and not to get too far into the weeds, What it is a lot of security measures in place are reactive, and they're looking for attacks after they're already introduced into the system. What ours is on the front side of it, saying we won't even allow certain information into your instance of Microsoft 365 unless it's past our security measures. And we're securing everything, as I mentioned, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, your emails, everything that we are scanning for and looking for any chance of vulnerability before it even hits your network. What this is designed for is to maximize protection against any permanent data loss. Anytime you lose any kind of data, this could be critical to businesses. And it's our job through Datto and through PC Professional to make sure that we are limiting the chance of downtime, limiting the amount of downtime, and limiting the amount of risk with lost data. So Datto SaaS Protection, we're backing up data a couple times throughout the day. Of the full backups, we're giving you unlimited storage in our cloud, one-click restores, easy and simple. If any of you have ever had to call Microsoft or Google for tech support, I've had to do it once, and it is an absolute nightmare. This is what that shared responsibility is. They want you calling them versus if you had your own copy of the data through PC Professional, you could just contact them. Hey, I accidentally deleted a file. Can you recover that? Something's not quite right. There's something up with my my Teams instance right now, or my SharePoint and my files. And contacting the experts at PC Professional will get you back up and running much faster and much easier than having to reach out to your major providers. So Datto SaaS Protection, that reliable, simple, and secure backup for your SaaS applications. Now, as I close out, I want to share with you, it's our job to keep you protected. And for all of you tuning in today, you're taking that first step and saying, yes, educate me on what is out there and how I can mitigate some of these risks. And we protect you, Datto and PC Professional, in 3 major areas. And this is where PC Professional shines. So the first step is understanding that data security first starts with people. And security is everybody's responsibility. It's not your in-house IT department. It's not just your provider. It's not PC Professional solely. It is all of us. All of us have to be aware of what to click on, what not to click on, how to connect. We're all working from various locations these days. How are we safely connecting? Where should I connect if I'm in a hotel, if I'm at a coffee shop? Is my house just as secure as going into the office? These are all things where your people have to be informed and educated on what PC Professional can do to help make sure you are as safe as possible. The next step is developing that process. If you do go down, does everybody know the exact process for how they're going to work, what they can do, what they can't do, how to recover in the event of this unplanned downtime? And then last but not least, what technology do we have at our fingertips to allow us to stay up and running, to recover this data at a moment's notice, again, no matter where that data lives, and keeping you as safe and secure as possible. Now, I know I went through a little bit of information there, and I tried to pack as much into about 25 minutes as possible here. But what it all boils down to is this: take that next step for a needs assessment, additional information, risk analysis. Contact the folks at PC Professional. And here's a quick and easy email address. We'll be reaching out with you afterwards. But if you guys want to take that next step, look at some of the advantages through technology, through the power of Datto that PC Professional provides. Shoot them an email at sales@pcprofessional.com. And some of you may have an in-house IT department. Some of you may have a current provider you're using. And I can't stress this enough. That's the perfect time to have somebody else, a second set of eyes, looking at it. PC Professional can do that. They can come in and say, look, maybe everything's running great. Maybe you don't have any issues, and that's fine. You guys are in good hands. Or here's some vulnerabilities that we found. Here's something that we can address that maybe your in-house team hasn't addressed or your current provider hasn't addressed. So with that, I would like to sign off and just say thank you all for joining us today. I tried to make this quick and brief, and I know time is a commodity these days, and everybody is short on it. But I just want to thank you all for your time. And again, that email address is sales@pcprofessional.com. We do have the Q&A open here. If anybody has any additional questions about data security, different solutions that are in place, or anything about Datto, please don't hesitate to ask. We have plenty of time here at the end. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Joe. Joe, I know you've got some cool prizes you want to raffle off and some information as well.
Yes, Eric, great presentation. Thank you for being a strategic partner and enabling us to protect our clients. So thank you. Everyone, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate that. As an incentive for your participation, Alessa, there she is in the bottom right there, will be reaching out, and she has gift cards for all attendees today. Thank you, Alessa. As a special added bonus, we're also going to be doing a drawing and awarding raffle prizes to several lucky attendees. We'll be in touch with you over the next week in this regard. And again, thank you for joining us. In closing, PC Professional truly appreciates having you as clients, and we look forward to your continued success. For information on the Datto SaaS backup, please contact your account manager or anyone at PC Professional and find out how easy it is to implement this important security technology. Thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care.